The woman stood at the edge of the ranch porch, fingers nervously twisting the worn fabric of her apron. Dust clung stubbornly to her boots, and the late afternoon sun pressed down, baking the wooden boards beneath her feet. She had walked for miles from the settler camp, rehearsing her words over and over, but now that she stood before him, all the courage she had gathered seemed to shrink under the weight of the rancher's gaze. He looked up from the saddle he was fixing, tall and broad-shouldered, a man whose eyes had seen more hardship than laughter. There was a quiet strength about him, an unspoken authority, and yet a wary caution in the way he measured her stance. She avoided his gaze, half-turned, ready to retreat at any moment. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice steady and calm, though edged with curiosity. She swallowed hard. Her lips trembled. I heard you needed help," she murmured, almost inaudible. "Cooking, cleaning, anything that needs doing." She lowered her eyes further, ashamed of the words she was about to say, yet compelled by an inner honesty she could not deny. "No one loves a fat girl, sir, but I can cook." The words fell between them like stones, heavy and awkward. He paused, hands still on the worn leather of the saddle strap. He had heard many pleas in his life, but none so raw, so stripped of pretense, so painfully self-aware. He studied her then, truly looked at her. Her dress was plain and faded, stretched slightly at the seams. Her face was round and sunburned, marked by dust and fatigue, but her eyes betrayed a quiet resilience. There was no flirtation, no demand, only determination and a stubborn will to survive. "Who told you that nonsense?" he asked, his voice softer now. She shrugged, a practiced motion of resignation. "Everyone," she admitted. "Back home, on the trail. Even my own mother used to say a woman like me should be grateful for scraps." He straightened, wiping his hands on his trousers. The wind stirred, carrying the smell of dry grass, hay, and distant cattle. "This ranch doesn't run on love," he said slowly. Her shoulders stiffened, bracing for dismissal. "It runs on work. I'm strong," she said quickly, almost defensively. "I rise before sunrise. I stretch meals when there's barely enough. I can bake bread without yeast, make stew out of bones. I don't complain." Something shifted in his expression. Not pity, not amusement, but respect. "Hungry?" he asked suddenly. She hesitated, then nodded once. "Then come inside." The kitchen was modest, but clean, a space that bore the marks of careful labor. He gestured toward a sack of flour, dried beans, and a slab of salted meat. "Show me," he said. Her hands shook at first, but when she began, the rhythm returned. She kneaded dough, seasoned stew, and transformed meager ingredients into sustenance. The scent of warmth and home began to fill the room. He watched silently, fascinated by her quiet competence, by the life she coaxed from simple things. When she finally looked up, cheeks flushed and eyes lowered, he spoke in a voice she hadn't expected. "Stay. I don't need a pretty woman. I need someone who knows how to keep a place alive." For the first time in her life, she felt the possibility of belonging.